You're listening to Online Pet Health Podcasts with Dr. Megan Kelly. Continuing education for veterinarian rehabilitation therapists. Learn more at onlinepethealth.com.
Hey Vet Rehabbers, you're listening to the Veterinary Rehabilitation Podcast and I'm your host, Dr. Megan Kelly. Thank you so much for joining me. Today, I'm doing one of my favorite type of podcasts. It's Behind the Vet Rehab Practice and I'm going to be chatting to Diane Messum. She is based in Hertfordshire in the UK and she works for Davies Veterinary Referrals. She is going to chat to us about her journey from being a human physio into a veterinary physio. She chats a lot about how she markets the practice, how they design the practice and her whole vet rehab team. And we also chat about the IAVRPT conference, which is in Cambridge this year from the 19th to the 21st of August. So Diane is organizing the conference and she lets us know a little bit about what's happening in Cambridge this year. So over to Di. Welcome, Di.
Hi, Megan. Nice to see you again.
Yes, you too. Well, we actually see each other quite often, don't we? So when I say often, online, not in person. So I am on the IAVRPT board and Di is organizing the 2020 IAVRPT conference with AgPat in Cambridge. So we're really, really excited and looking forward to that. So how are the plans going, Di?
Well, it's a mad start to the beginning of the year, as I thought it might be. So we're rapidly working hard to get the program released, and hopefully everybody's really excited with the program. So we're hoping to attract a big audience. We've got a huge following on our Facebook page at the moment, and we've hit over 750 people. So I'm hoping that to build some more excitement as we get nearer the day. And yes, so there's lots going on.
So Di, we actually here though to chat about you and how you got into veterinary physiotherapy. So share with us the journey of how you got into the field.
So I guess I could start right back to when I was 15 and I had absolutely no idea what I was going to do. I grew up on a farm. I'm a farmer's daughter. My father had a dairy herd. I'd grown up around horses, sheep, cows all my life and wanted to be a vet, but I didn't think academically I would achieve it, and all those difficult decisions you have to make along that journey. So I went to a physio when I was 15 after a big weekend of I was competing in the pony club and I'd done a lot of stuff, and I had a muscle overuse injury. So I went to a physio and she was also an equine physio, and that was my light bulb moment. I thought, right, this is it now. I know where I'm traveling in life, and so I had that aspiration right the way through my A-levels and went to university. I didn't get onto a human physiotherapy course initially. I had to repeat my A-levels to get onto a course, and actually that was hard. So I went in on a medical science degree and I shared a room with a physiotherapist who would come back and say, Di, someone's dropping off the course. You should go round there for the 10th time this term, which was within the first 4 weeks of me starting at university. So I went round and they interviewed me a few days later and I was accepted on the course. So I then completed my undergraduate physiotherapy degree. I then went to work in an NHS hospital in London for 2 years, rotating. So I gained a background in neurology, respiratory, outpatients, orthopedics, pediatrics, hand therapy, medicine. And so that was vital to deciding on where I went when I specialised in human physiotherapy. And then I went into private practice whilst I was then studying my MSc, master's degree in veterinary physiotherapy. So it was it was 7 years before I qualified as an animal physiotherapist. And so I've been practicing since 2007 now. So yes.
Yeah, so a long haul, and I know all about it. So I think it was 8 years that I studied to finish veterinary nursing first, then vet, and then I did my CCRP. So I hear you, but it's worth it, right?
Oh, 100%. I mean, the job satisfaction I get from this is amazing, and I'm so delighted, and I hope that many of our colleagues feel the same, that I'm so grateful to come to work every day and love the job I do.
So one of my inspirations also was to be an equine physio. So that was actually why I did the vet nursing in the beginning, and then I ended up actually doing small animals. So when you went to the physio and she was the equine physio, was that the inspiration? Because you're also doing small animals now, right?
Yeah, I know. So I had horses and ponies all my life and thought that I would end up in the equine industry. And I started off doing both when I qualified. So I set up my own practice. I actually was helping out a colleague in London for the first 3 years, and having her mentor me at the same time, having just qualified, was fantastic, because I think when you first qualify, you're suddenly out there on your own, and you're like, oh golly, how on earth do I do this, on my own now? I've got to set up a practice, a business, I've got to go out and market. And I had no idea. So working alongside a colleague in London in her practice was a fantastic opportunity, and she was a brilliant mentor, and I'm forever grateful to this day. So that was the start. And then I was also working part-time as an outpatient physiotherapist and specialising in hands. But the opportunity came up to come and work at the small animal referral hospital I'm now in 2011. And it was just purely by treating a client, their pet, that had been seen here. He lived close to me, about an hour away from here. And this dog had surgery, and it had a multiple ligament disruption in the stifle. And so it had to have an external fixator on. So we started physio early. And the owner said to me, would you like to take my dog back for its surgery to have the external fixator removed and visit practice at the same time? So I contacted one of the directors and also head of orthopedics at the time who was doing the surgery, and he said, of course, come and visit. So I came to visit and spent the day here observing consults and observing surgery. And then later down the line, about 6 months later, I had an email out of the blue from the same orthopedic specialist saying, hi Di, how are you? We're looking to set up a rehab service. Do you know anyone that can come and speak to our team here to tell us how you can complement our current services? So I had to find my confidence and put together a small presentation, and I came and delivered that to a small group in the small lecture theatre here. And a couple of weeks later, they phoned back and said, well, you've convinced, the people that you delivered your lecture to, we really want you. Can you come work for us? So I was a bit overwhelmed at this point. I thought, gosh, how do I juggle myself now? Because I have my own practice. I also work for a human orthopedic private practice, and doing outpatients. And how do I split my time? So I had to cut down my human hours. And then I started 3 days a week here, 2 half days and 1 full day. Just because I think by being here those set days, it meant that people knew when I was here rather than coming in and out at different times. So they could schedule patients. They knew that, oh, Di's here on Wednesday, I'm going to go and speak to her about this patient I've just seen, or I saw yesterday. And they knew that the inpatients were also being seen regularly, so we can monitor and advise the nurses on how to progress them as well. So that was how I started here, and it's gradually built up. And so it was a very fortunate and lucky break, and I'm very grateful for it.
So you've been there since 2011 now, right? Okay.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about sort of the premises. So I know that it's quite a big practice. So describe to us sort of where your clinic is in relation to everything else. And obviously you had just started off. They now wanted to start this rehab clinic. Did you have a room there, or how did it work when you first arrived?
So it's a small animal referral hospital which is based in Hertfordshire, and it first opened in 1998, and initially there was about 18 members of the practice here, which consisted of both vets and vet nurses and client care. So, and now 20 plus years on, we're now a team of over 180 people. So our premises are on a small holding. Well, I don't know whether you call it small holding, but it's a small farm type plan. And so there's lots of units on site. So as we've grown, we've spread into different units. And so initially when I was here, though 8 years ago, I was consulting out of one of the orthopaedic consult rooms. So we just had a basic room. And then the orthopaedic surgeons were very tolerant of us, but we kept introducing peanut balls and Swiss balls. So they were having to consult around our equipment as well. So they found us another room that we could call our own. So we just had a very small consult room initially. And then I kept submitting business proposals to develop the service further and introduce hydrotherapy. So I submitted that 2 years in a row. And fortunately, the directors came to a unanimous agreement that this was what they wanted to develop. So we were looking at where on the site we could have the therapy centre as it now is. And there was a small company that was occupying one of the units on the site, and they were leaving, and so it was coming up available for lease. So they showed me the area and the space, and they said, can you develop what you need from this space? And it was much greater space than I anticipated, and so we've been able to do a lot more than my initial business plan laid out, which is fantastic. So we now have it's called the Therapy and Fitness Centre. So we have our own reception area. We've got a hydrotherapy suite and staff shower room facilities. We've got 3 consult rooms, and we have 2 offices, and we're fortunate to sit alongside our marketing team on site as well. So she's in the same building also. And yes, so we have our gymnasium also in addition to those rooms that I was just describing. So we're very fortunate.
Sounds fabulous. And so tell us a little bit about the team. So obviously with all that space, there have to be quite a few people working within it.
Yes, so at the moment we are 2 physiotherapists, 2 hydrotherapists and 2 physiotherapy assistants. And we're continuing to grow. We've just extended our opening hours as well to try and accommodate the growing need for the services. But yeah, so I have a colleague, Sarah. She works 4 days a week. I work 3 days on site and half day off site. And then our therapy assistants are part-time too, and then the hydrotherapists are part-time. But yeah, so we are open 6 days a week essentially at the moment.
So yeah, so when you're not doing, are you working elsewhere, or you just do 3.5 days a week? So you're doing other work elsewhere? Yeah.
I try to be a mum.
And prepare all those lectures, because you lecture quite a lot. I was wondering actually how on earth you have time to be able to prepare all the lectures that you do. So that's probably what you're doing in that spare time if you're not being a mum.
I don't think I have a lot of spare time, Megan. I'm a self-professed workaholic, I'm afraid. So my husband, he tends to go to bed early in the evening, and I'm still up at 1 o'clock at night finishing stuff off. So yeah, unfortunately it's in my blood, this job.
I know all about it. So I'm also a bit of a workaholic, but it's because we love what we do, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so one of the things I want to ask you is that while I was asking, are you doing other stuff? So I thought maybe you're still doing a little bit of the human side of things. So like one of the things that is a struggle when somebody is already doing human physiotherapy, then they need to make the move into like working with animals, and then you slowly do it, and it's always a little bit daunting to take the big leap to move away from the human side of things. So how did you make that decision? Was it, you were obviously working a few days there and then still doing some of the human side of things? When was that moment where you said, okay, now I'm just going into veterinary side of things?
It wasn't a decision that was easy for me. I'd started here, and not long after I'd started here in 2011, I fell pregnant, which was sooner than I'd anticipated. So I was away for 3 months having my daughter, and I was keen to get back quickly because I didn't want to lose sight of what I'd started and continue to build upon it. So it was at that point then, after I'd sort of started back here, I had a year off my human physiotherapy job. And after consulting lots of friends and colleagues in the industry that had also come across that question. I particularly remember a good friend and colleague saying, well, actually, Di, you're in a setting at Davies, which is a multidisciplinary setting. You're working alongside the vets, the nurses. You're not going to de-skill in, by not, in a way that I might have done, or I might have felt I'd done if I'd have been out in the community on my own. So I think that sort of was a realization that I can do this, and if I wanted to go back to human physiotherapy, then I can still do so. But it was a question of whether I split my time between my human physio, which would have only been 1 day, and 2 days here, and whether that was enough. And I felt that I wouldn't have been fulfilled enough. I think just doing 1 day human a week and the 2 days small animals. So I decided, no, I'm going to specialise. I'm going to take that leap and commit. And I think it was the best decision I've made to date. So yeah.
Yeah, because it's a bit disjointed doing the two, and especially if you're working 3 days a week, you never really feel like you're getting a hold of something. So I think it was the good decision that you made. So let's chat a little bit about the practice and where you get clients from. So obviously you're fortunate enough to be within a referral center and there's an orthopedic surgeon there. So are most of your clients from in-house referrals, or do you get referrals from other practices around?
We get referrals from both aspects. So the majority, I would say, are in-house. We're fortunate to work alongside a team of 5 orthopedic surgeons and 5 neurology surgeons. So we have a lot of referrals from both of those areas. But we're also, our market for direct referrals is increasing as well. So we are getting a reputation amongst our local referring practices, and they might also already refer into the other services, but as over the last 3 years since we opened the centre specifically and are offering greater services, they are more aware of our presence here, and so I think that's continued to help build up that external referral.
And what is your main focus that you have for marketing? Is it marketing to the vets in the area, or are you focused some marketing towards pet owners?
We've done both, I have to say. So we invited vets and vet nurses to our opening day when we first launched the Therapy and Fitness Centre. We have social media campaigns as well. We have our own individualised website which advertises our services. We've been doing lunch and learn sessions, so we contact our referring vets and invite them to make suggestions of what they want to listen to, and we'll go and present to them. We've also presented evenings for clients, pet owners, fitness conditioning and how to optimise their pet's fitness and conditioning of the athlete, osteoarthritis evenings. So we've looked at helping and supporting them as well. So I think it's a multitude of things that have will help drive those referrals forward, and word of mouth as well. So it's obviously is a nice way to receive our patients.
And is the facility, obviously it's in a separate area, but is it all together with the main referral center, or do you run it as a separate business?
No, it's all together part of the main hospital, but obviously each service is, we have a head of service, and I'm the head of therapy services. So I will attend monthly team management meetings, and we'll discuss what else is going on around the practice and what we need to do and improve upon, or address, or changes that are taking place. So communication amongst the rest of the practice when it's as big as ours is key. But I guess in many ways, on the other hand, we are more we can, what's the term I'm thinking of? We can cater for ourselves as well. So we are in a facility of our own where we can also take, schedule our own appointments, for example. We can sort out invoices, we can deal with insurance forms, etc., and things like that. Then that's also a bonus, and that's helped us open on the Saturday as well, where we don't rely upon any of the other clients' care services. I didn't want to start putting pressure on other services to feel that they needed to be here to allow our service to develop and grow as well. So we're more independent in that sense.
So is the other facilities not open on a Saturday?
So we obviously have emergency services, but we don't run consults on a Saturday at the moment, although we're just about to launch our dermatology service on a Saturday. But routinely, the rest of the services consult during the week, and obviously the emergencies are always coming in 24/7.
One other question I had was, usually with these big hospitals, the orthopedic section, is that close to you? So you're obviously having to go and treat patients that are in hospital. So how far away is that from where you guys are?
Oh, very close. So the wards are approximately maybe 50 yards away from our doors. So transferring those patients across is not usually an issue. Although at the moment we've currently got a 70-kilogram Dr. Bordeaux, and he is heavy because he's had an FCE. So he's proving quite a manual handling challenge for the nursing staff and for the rest of us as well. So that 50 yards seems like an awful long way.
And you don't have any day cages in your area?
No, that was what I dreamed, and that was when the initial plans. But I think there was concern around noise transfer within the centre initially, and also we weren't certain about developing that side of things early on. It's not something that we've written off for the future, but I did consider having day cages where, whether we had patients dropped off in the morning and a rehab through the day, and having both physio and hydro at, morning, afternoon, for example, and then picked up in the evening, or whether inpatients come over and spend the day with us. Those that've got low nursing needs can stay with us, and then they go back at the end of the day. So that would have been nice, but I think at the moment, we set that aside to reconsider in the future. But I think it works well transferring them from the ward setting, and it's so lovely to transfer them from the ward setting as well. There's so many patients that get quite stressed because of the situation over there. It's very busy. There's lots of worried pets over there, and when they come over here, it's so lovely to see how relaxed they are, and how instantly, they lie down, and you can just see their posture change, and their facial expressions change, and they'll start eating. They haven't been eating over in kennels, and so that's what I love about our centre. I wanted, when we designed the centre, I wanted an environment not like I wanted to be like a spa. I'm not going to lie. I wanted to be like a spa for our pets. So they come in, they feel relaxed. We have classical music playing as they come into reception. The colour scheme was, a relaxed, soft colours. I didn't want it to be a very clinical environment. And we have beautiful, bright coloured pictures on the walls, which we launched a competition when we opened, inviting pet owners to send in photos of their pets enjoying the outdoors, because I wanted the colour from the outdoors. And so we have some amazing photos around the clinic, which just show pets enjoying life, and hopefully that's what we try and aspire. Well, that's what we aspire to getting our patients back to, is enjoying life and enjoying the outdoors and running through the meadows again. So it sounds a bit like cheesy, that, doesn't it? Sorry.
It's so lovely, that they come and they're relaxed, and that's the difference, like veterinary practice. And I think that some vet rehabbers model their practice off of veterinary practice, because and myself as a vet, that's all I've known. When I had my practice, it was also very different. So it didn't really look like a veterinary practice at all. It wasn't very clinical. And, one of the things that I used to refuse to do was to clip nails and express anal glands, because I'm a vet. They would always bring their dogs in there and say, "Oh, won't you just express his anal glands, and won't you just," and I used to say no, because that's actually where all the fear comes. The dogs release all those fear pheromones because they're so scared, and then they associate the practice, the rehab practice, with that fear, and then the next dog that comes in just smells all the fear pheromones and thinks, whoa, bad things happen in here, and then they get all shaky, as they go into the veterinary practice door. You just see them, even if they haven't even been in there, it's all the pheromones. So it's good that nice things happen there, and they're just relaxed, and yeah. That's really awesome.
It's
And so,
lovely, Megan. Sorry. I was going to say it was lovely because we do get some pet owners that describe their pets pulling them towards the door. And, you know, we even have staff dogs as well that might come and visit us, or we might have been treating them and they're walking past after their morning walk and they're pulling their, you know, owner towards the door. And it's just lovely to hear that. And yeah, so it's very special.
and also we're able to treat them better when they're relaxed. You know, it's impossible to treat a dog that's shaking and, you know, tense. So. I wanted to chat about your hydrotherapy. So is that an underwater treadmill and a pool, or just the underwater treadmill?
So we just have the underwater treadmill here. We looked at both options, but I think having spoken to people that have had both facilities in their practices previously and have removed the pool because they felt they weren't using it, I think that helped make our decision much easier. So whilst investment-wise it's of greater cost to invest in an underwater treadmill, I think we see the benefits by far. And I'm not saying that the pool isn't you know, a good facility for a lot of our patients, but for our environment where we're seeing a lot of neurological cases in particular, it is vital to their recovery. So yeah.
I also only had an underwater treadmill, so just actually space-wise. And there were maybe 1 or 2 cases every month that I would refer to the practice down the road, that maybe some elbow cases, which I thought would actually be better off swimming. And then always those staffies or those German shepherds that wouldn't walk in the underwater treadmill. They'd just get in there and freak out, you know. So let's chat about your consults. So you're obviously consulting 3 days a week. What are your consult hours? Are you consulting the whole day, or do you guys have blocks of consults? So you consult in the morning and then have a little break, and then the afternoon. How does it work?
We consult throughout the day, so I'm really guilty of not having a lunch time. I tend to just work through my lunch most of the time, but my team are very good at making sure that they try and block lunch off for me, and I'm not very good at sticking to it though. But we start, so I'm on site generally. Most days we are 9 till 5, our opening hours, but now we've just recently extended our hours. So Mondays and Tuesdays we're now open till 8 o'clock. And on a Saturday, we're open from 8:30 till 2:30. Because we had so much pressure, particularly last summer on the Hydro Suite, we needed to find extra slots, and we were recruiting at the time, but I extended my hours, so my hours became earlier in the morning, and I'm a much more of a morning person. I prefer to be here early, so my consults have stayed the same on a Tuesday, Friday, so I start consulting at 7:45, and technically I'm supposed to finish a little earlier, but it never happens. So yes, but generally we are sort of we're on site 8:30 till 8 on a Monday, Tuesday. We're 8:30 till 5:30 on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then 8:30, 2:30 on Saturday.
So it's quite long hours on some of the days, hey?
Yes, yeah. My colleague covers my 2 colleagues cover these evening hours on a Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah. And so if you look back now at everything that you did and how you set up, is there anything that you would have done differently?
Oh, that's a good question, Megan. There's probably many things I might have done. I think I'm proud of the centre and the team I have around me at the moment. I'm not sure I can think of anything that off my head at the moment, off the top of my head at the moment. But I'm sure when I say goodbye, I'll think there's so many things I should have said. I think it's just finding time to, from my point of view, I struggle to delegate. So I need to find time and for more managing side of things, because I feel that I don't dedicate enough time to the management side of things myself. And that's a flaw, because I feel that when I'm in clinic, 100% of my time has to be with my patients who I feel need our help. So I feel that if I'm in clinic dedicating my time to management, I feel like I'm doing a disservice to my patients. So I wouldn't be a full-time manager. So, but that's what I need to do more of, I feel. Certainly as we grow, I'll need to find more time for that.
Yeah, I think it's a struggle that we all have. We're all in vet rehab because we want to be vet rehabbers, but all these other things have to happen, the marketing and managing people and finances and checking this and checking that. So yeah, it's a struggle that all of us have. So my last question is, when you're not practicing vet physio, being a mom and lecturing, what do you do? So what are your hobbies? And do you have time to actually do them? I know you run, because I remember at Knoxville, you were always running. So even early hours in the morning, you were exercising.
Yeah, I don't think I'd do it on my own if I didn't have people encouraging me to do so. But running is my therapy time. I was fortunate, one of my neighbours who moved in around the same time as me, about 6 years ago in the little village we are at the moment, she is about the same stage in our lives. We both got young children, and we both wanted to get our time and our figures back. So we started running together, and we try and go out 2 or 3 times a week. And we go out and we chat the whole time we're running, and we just get things off our chest. We say whether we've had a good day, a bad day, and then we come home, and I feel like I'm a much nicer person to be around my family. So that's my therapy and emotional kind of well-being time. And then horse riding, I really miss. I used to ride a lot, and we have a family pony now for the children, which I love. But I miss the riding side of things. I'm lucky enough to have found somebody I met at university many years ago who lives fairly locally, and her daughter's just started at our children's school, and she's got 3 horses, and she just says, come and ride whenever you like, just you know where the tap room is, come and borrow all of the horses. And I just love it, because I'm on a retired racehorse, a retrained racehorse, and gosh, blowing the cobwebs out your hair when you're riding across the fields is just one of the best exhilarating feeling. It's just amazing. So yeah, so I try and do that when I can, as often as I can. But yeah, those are my 2 main hobbies.
Oh, fabulous. I actually must get on a horse again. So I rode up until I was 23. And my youngest, who's now 5, is horse crazy. Like, everything is unicorn horses. And so she has done every extramural that you can think of. Gymnastics, she's done ballet, she's done hip hop, she's done karate, she's done play ball, like every single one. I've tried everything. And she just keeps saying, I just want a horse ride. I just want a horse ride. And so we do like 1 term of something, and I think, now this is it. And I thought the karate, like she's going to get into the karate. And so now I've just given in. So now we are starting horse riding twice a week now. So she used to do it every second week, twice a week now. And it's not that close. It's like about 30 minutes from her school. So I have to now drive 30 minutes to go to horse riding, 30 minutes back to go fetch my eldest daughter from school, and then another 20 minutes back home. So yeah, so it's going to be lots of driving. But when I was there, at the end of the year, when she rode the first time, just to check the stables out, I sort of had this little bit of like, well, maybe I could ride at the same time. Maybe they've got a horse and I could actually just ride at the same time as her. So you never know. I think my husband might freak, because he is petrified of horses, like petrified. He won't go near them. So he's like, if you're doing this with the kids, it's all on you. So, but yeah, I think I also need to get on a horse. If I do, I will send you a picture. You've inspired me.
No, definitely.
So, Di, before we finish off, I just wanted to chat a little bit about the IAVRPT conference. So, obviously, the tickets open; people can buy them. What is the website that people go to? For those of you that are listening, and if you're driving, I'll put this in the notes so that you guys can go and have a look, and you can also obviously check the IAVRPT Facebook page out.
Yes, Megan. So the conference is in August, August the 19th to the 21st. The European College of Vet Rehab, I'm going to get this wrong, ECVSMR, European College of Veterinary Rehabilitation Sports Medicine. I put it wrong. I'll leave it there. They are having meetings on Saturday, and we have wet labs on the Tuesday. And the website you can find all these details on are www.iavrpt2020.org. And you'll find all the information about the programme, registration, abstract submission, accommodation, and location of the conference, all on that website.
So Vet Rehabbers, go to the website and book your tickets, and Di and I will see you there.
Hope to see you there. Thank you so much, Megan.
Thanks, Di. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Vet Rehabbers, for more information on how to take your career to the next level, go to www.onlinepethealth.com. Please don't forget to subscribe to my podcast so you'll get notified. I'm here every single week talking to vet rehabbers from all over the world, learning, and I would love you to join me. Hope you have an awesome day further. Cheers for now.